All right, welcome everybody to our October Lunch and Learn. Welcome to October. Fall is setting in, and I'm really excited to share some basics of astrology that can help you in your business relationships, but can also just help you in your relationship with yourself, your relationship with other people in your life. This doesn't have to exclusively be for business, but I'm going to be sharing in the context of relating to clients, relating to members of your team. So everybody's dropping their information in the chat. That's wonderful. I'm going to let you know how the next hour or so is going to go, and then we'll get into it. So we're going to start with just a quick networking opportunity. We'll go around popcorn style and introduce ourselves and our business, like quick elevator pitch of your business, and then maybe one word of an intention because we are a little bit mystical today. So we'll bring in some intention into the conversation. And then I'll share just a little bit about NAWBO, the organization, National Association of Women Business Owners, that is hosting today's Lunch and Learn. And then we'll get into what we all came for, which is to talk about astrology. So I'll start and then I'll just popcorn it to someone else. Hi, I'm Olivia DeGennaro. I am the program's co-chair for NAWBO Sacramento. Really excited about sharing today, and I'm a very multifaceted, multi-passionate person. I've got a lot going on. Today I'm wearing my astrologer hat. So I have an astrology business where I offer readings and courses and things like that. I also run a women's organization here in Sacramento that focuses on connection outside of business. So we do women's dances, workshops. There's a lot of astrology influence in those gatherings as well, sister circles. And I'm also a lifelong dancer and dance teacher, and I'm in the process of opening up a new studio in Midtown that will be called Sanctuary. And finally, I also have a media marketing agency. That's my job that, it's my muggle job, my boring job, but that was my gateway into entrepreneurship because my previous life was as a TV news journalist. So there's a lot going on here, and I'm a firm believer that we get to do everything we want to do, and I always say that if I don't do it, I probably know someone who does. So I'll be sharing a little bit more at the end about how you can get in touch with me, but for now, I will popcorn it over to Nicole Townsend.
Unmute. Hello, I'm Nicole Townsend, and I'm happy to be here today and see Olivia do her awesome work. She's right. Everything she does has this awesome sense of self and intuition, so I think you're going to enjoy it. And I think also I am the owner of Experience Counts. It's an employee and customer experience company. So we support companies with their culture so that employees have the best experience and can give that alternatively to their customers. I'm also the incoming president of NAWBO Sac Valley chapter, as well as doing partnerships for the chapter.
I forgot to say my one word intention. I'll say it at the end, but if you want to share, Nicole.
My one word is peace. That's it.
And who are we sending it to next?
How about Lori?
Lori Schulte. I worked in commercial real estate for 30 plus years in property management and facilities management. 3 years ago, I decided to take a 6-month sabbatical because I just couldn't take it anymore. And I ended up starting my own consulting firm. So I am retired, which means I can't quite retire, but I'm close. So I'm working for medical benefits. And I do project-based work for commercial real estate firms, investors, nonprofits who just need help with specific projects or dealing with their buildings and their physical asset. And I will send it to Kim because she's the only other person I know on here.
Well, that's cool to know you. Let me see. I'm Kim McLaughlin. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, so I provide counseling services virtual, I'm sorry, I'm beeping. Counseling services to people in person or virtually. Work with anybody within the state of California on anything having to do with mental health. I am the membership co-chair of NAWBO. So I'll put in the links. We have an upcoming membership drive event. It's going to be fun, well attended. It's October the 21st, 5:30 in the evening, and it'll be downtown. I'll put the link to it. Please come. We'd love to have you join us and get to know us more at NAWBO. What else can I tell you? My one word today is quiet. Quiet.
Beautiful. Who would you like to say?
And I will go to Pamela.
Good afternoon. I am Pamela McAfee from Fresno, California, and my company is Stellaverse Consulting Firm. My business partner is actually on the East Coast, and we are consultants for healthcare administration and operations, healthcare IT and AI ethics, and leadership education development and training. And we've been in business a little over 2 years now, so we're into our third year, working hard. I've been a NAWBO member for over 2 decades now in different states, and I'm actually a board member for the National DEIB committee for NAWBO. And I have attended a few Sacramento virtual events, and I actually just attended a Bakersfield event last month, their chapter, because Fresno doesn't have a chapter. So I'm usually participating in the virtual chapter meetings. So my intentional word today is let's see, restful.
Beautiful. And who do you want to talk to?
And I'll pop over to Christina.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Christina Dixon. I kind of put my stuff in the chat, but I'm currently serving as the president of our chapter, and I've been associated in NAWBO for quite some time. I'm in my 5th year now, and I've served on the board almost the entire time. So my business is I'm a law firm owner, so owner and managing shareholder for ACUS Law. We are an employment law boutique focusing on workplace investigations and advice and counseling for employers. And let's see, I will popcorn to Katie. You're muted.
Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie, and I just popped over from I'm in school for Ayurveda. So my apologies. I missed the very beginning, but just quick introduction. I am an Ayurvedic counselor. I am an investor. I invest in things like surf parks, water parks, anything board related. And I also own Bright Earthy Vibes, which is an inspirational adventure wear. And I'm currently rebranding. So I'm about to launch a new inspirational collection called See Brightly. And then I am also currently building my Ayurvedic practice. So I have an additional company called Bright Earthy Healing. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I'm local in Sacramento. I'm in the Sacramento Davis area. And let me know if I missed anything.
What's your one-word intention?
Oh, my one-word intention is vibration, because every vibration heals something.
Lovely. And then I think we still have Nicole Bruns and Morgan, so you can popcorn it to either of those people. Let's have Nicole Bruns go next.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to stay off camera because some of you might have met my daughter earlier. We're feeling a little under the weather, so I don't want to spook you, even though we are in the spooky season. But yeah, happy to be here. I am the founder of a 501c3 nonprofit, Bruns Oury Inc. We provide environmental education for entities within California that are wanting to meet or maintain carbon neutrality. I'm also the chair for the Sacramento E-Mobility Collaborative. This is a collaborative that meets once a month, and we have a subcommittee that also meets that I'm chair of as well. Just discussing like clean air incentive and clean transportation projects throughout the Sacramento region. And some of the partners with that include like SMUD and local air districts and CARB, which is also one of the last hats that I wear aside from being a mom, is I'm an air pollution specialist for the state of California. So I'm excited to hear, all of the wisdom that Olivia can offer. I've met Olivia through actually Goddess Night Out, so not part of NAWBO, but curious to see what it's all about as well. And my one word is connection.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nicole. And Morgan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I am driving in lovely San Francisco. Just kidding, I'm not, as you guys I'm sure know. So my name is Morgan Gonzalez. I'm actually the lesser half to the programming with Olivia with NAWBO, and I also am a business owner. I own Beauty. We are a skincare and makeup studio located in Arden Park, and we have a satellite location in Rancho Cordova. And we offer customized skincare treatments for busy women who prioritize their self-care, and also help them feel better about themselves through those facials and customized makeup application. And my one word is simplify.
Beautiful. And I will, I know Gwen, I'm hoping I say your name right. It can't come on, but she dropped her information in the chat. My one word is sharing. So I'll get right into it. Fair warning, when I get excited about things, I talk really fast. So hopefully and I'm caffeinated. So hopefully you can keep up. Yes, before I get into astrology, I know some of us are maybe new to NAWBO, others are on the board. So let me just share a little bit about NAWBO. NAWBO stands for the National Association of Women Business Owners, and we are the Sacramento chapter of that organization. Nationally, we have more than 12 million members. Women in business, women-owned businesses, and becoming a member gives you access to a national library of resources and connections really all over the country and all over the world. Our chapter, we provide our members with educational, social, and economic programs that support you in building successful business ventures and making effective changes in business culture. It's no secret that business culture for most of time has been very male dominated, so it's really refreshing to talk business in rooms with other women who are sort of in the trenches with us. And our goal is to provide you access to mentorship, advisors, advocates to help you grow your business and build community relationships. Very fitting that we're talking about business in terms of astrology today because the moon is at the last degree of Capricorn right now. And Capricorn is all about business and long-term goals. So just a little tidbit to keep in mind. And yes, thank you, Morgan. You're still welcome to drop your information in the chat. And thank you, Pamela. I'm in good company. You talk fast when you're passionate too. Beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna get started with this presentation. I am gonna ask for like a little bit of participation here and there. So whenever I ask a question, you're welcome to just come off mute because we've got a lot to get through and I wanna make sure that we get through it all. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. One moment, let's see, present. Okay, can we all see this? Yeah, beautiful. All right, so today we are talking about astrology for business. And these two things might seem counterintuitive. I don't know how many of you, like on your social media, hear the astrology girlies talking about transits and signs, and it's just going like right over your head and maybe feeling a little overwhelming. Okay, yes, I see hands. So my goal today is to help demystify some of these words that you're hearing and give you just a really basic framework to view astrology through. We're not going to get into all the details today, but I'm hoping you can leave feeling a little more confident when someone asks you about what's your rising sign or says, oh, my Mercury is in Virgo. Like, what does that mean? Today, hopefully, you'll be able to understand it. So, why astrology? There's so many different personality quizzes like Widget and Myers-Briggs. I'm sure if you've been in the corporate world at all, you've heard of these things. Astrology is my favorite version of a personality quiz, if you will, but it's really an ancient practice that regardless of what your lineage looks like, what your ancestry looks like, your ancestors used the stars to track the seasons and to track time. And when we talk about these associations with different signs, this is a compilation of data from literally all over the world of people, our ancestors being like, ah, yes, after the equinox, like right now in Libra season, this is the energy that we're feeling, right? And I love this quote, one of my favorite quotes about astrology: millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. Most people who are in the 0.001%, very wealthy people often have astrologers on their team, actually. And a fun fact, I love to share this on the 4th of July, but our country, the Declaration of Independence, was signed on July 4th because our founding fathers were waiting for the moon to move out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. Ironically, the moon is in Capricorn right now, but the moon being in Capricorn is not considered beneficial. So, I mean, this is, even if you're not really into astrology or the woo-woo or whatever, it actually affects your daily life or your yearly life, at least when it comes to why we celebrate certain things at certain times, even in terms of holidays. That's a whole rabbit hole I won't get down, but a lot of us are actually more influenced by astrology than we think. I'm going to share just a little bit about what astrology has done for me. As I mentioned, I did come from the corporate world. I was in the TV news industry as a reporter and anchor for a long time. And when I moved back to Sacramento, I was sort of in this transitional state. And my best friend's older sister had just done this whole course on astrology. So I'm talking with her, and she starts sharing about my North Node and my rising sign. And it blew my mind because I just thought, oh, I'm a Virgo. Like, I was born in September, I'm a Virgo. And that little bit really opened up a whole world, and I started understanding myself better. And as a Virgo, I always say there's no good or bad signs. Everything is a spectrum. There's high and low expressions of every sign, every planet. But something about myself that I realized is that I can be pretty critical, and that's sometimes a Virgo trait. But what astrology has allowed me to do is see the other people in my life when I understand their charts through the lens of love, compassion, and, a lot of my life, like, I'll just use my mother as an example because that's what really did it for me. I was like, why is she this way? Oh my gosh, she's a Sagittarius. She's wild. She's free. I'm a Virgo. I'm like modest, not, at least I used to be very modest and not very free. And it just, understanding her chart and seeing her through the lens of astrology allowed me to appreciate her more and understand that she's not like me, and that's okay. So I share that because that's really what I'm hoping we can all do, using astrology as a tool to be able to see people for their gifts and their strengths and better understand the things about others that aren't natural or intuitive for us, that maybe don't make full sense to us because we're all different. And that's really the beautiful thing that astrology has allowed me to embrace, all of our differences and all the different qualities that each of us brings to the table. So I use astrology as a tool pretty much every day to better understand myself, as a tool for reflection, and to better understand the people in my life. Instead of being like, ugh, she's just so like cold and distant, I'm like, oh, she probably has some Aquarius and Capricorn energy in her chart, right? So it allows me to take a less judgmental approach in my relationships. As always, I always say this anytime I'm talking about astrology or really anything when it comes to spirituality: take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is not a a stringent, this is how it is. If something resonates with you, wonderful. If you're like, oh, that doesn't feel good for me, don't worry about it. Just take what's helpful for you. All right, so we're going to start just with the basics today. You really don't need to know a lot about astrology to start using it as a tool. So we're going to talk very basically about how a birth chart works. If you've ever seen your astrology chart, it can feel very overwhelming when you see this circle and these lines, and it looks like a foreign language, right? So we're going to talk very basically about how that works. We're going to feel into the energy of each sign. This is where I'm going to have you do a little bit of audience participation with me. I always say I'm only experiencing each sign through my eyeballs, through my lens, and I love to hear how other people experience the signs. And when we're talking about them too, we're talking about each sign as an energy. So, an energy that we're feeling into this season, an energy that we're experiencing when someone with a lot of, let's just say, Libra energy is around me. I'm getting access to Libra energy, if that makes sense. And then we're going to talk about some of the inner planets, a few of the basic planets in each of our charts, and how to use those as a tool to better relate. So, something that I love to emphasize is that we all have all 12 signs in our chart. So if you're hearing anything, especially on social media, or you ever hear people say like, I don't like that sign, this one's the worst one, this one's the best one. Actually, we all have all 12 signs in our chart. Even if you don't have a lot of planets or any planets in one area of your chart, you still have that energy playing a part and playing a role in your life. Again, I'm not going to get super deep into the chart, but I like to emphasize this, that we all are all 12 signs. So you can see a basic chart here. You are here. This is where the Earth was the moment you were born. And so in your chart, you can imagine yourself like a little beautiful baby coming into the world. And then the pie charts around it are all the 12 constellations, the 12 signs in the sky. And in your chart, you will have different planets around the circle in the different pie slices. This is essentially just showing where all the planets were in relation to Earth the moment you came into the world. So rather than taking a personality quiz, we're literally just looking at a map of the stars and some major planetary placements and asteroids and things like that the moment you were born, and how those maybe shape your personality. Again, I won't get too deep into this rabbit hole, but if you are not familiar with the neutrino stream, I encourage you to go look it up, because essentially I like to view the planets as energies sort of beaming down onto Earth, and they all have different associations with each other. So this is like an energetic blueprint that was sort of sending vibes, sending molecules, sending particles, energy down to the Earth the moment you were born and making an imprint on you. So I'll use my chart as an example just so you can see a little bit better what I'm talking about. So this would be me. Hi, baby Olivia in the middle of the chart. This horizontal line with this ASC, this represents the horizon. So your rising sign, which we'll get into in a bit, is where the horizon was, or your ascendant. That's why it says ASC. And then all of these symbols represent the different planets and where they were in relation to Earth. So I was born right before the sunrise. You can see the sun, this circle with a dot in the middle, was really close to the horizon. It was about to pop up over the horizon, just to give you sort of a framework of what you're looking at. And each of these little pie pieces represents a different house in the chart. or the numbers represent the houses. Of course, this outer ring, these are all the signs and where they were in the sky, the constellations. All these lines, we won't get into these today. That's level 2 or 3. These are all aspects and how the different planets are relating to one another. And this is actually mathematical. It's all based on sacred geometry and angles, and our understanding of physics, actually, which is really interesting. So this is me, this is my chart, this is my energetic blueprint. And today we're really going to be focusing on some of the planets, so these symbols and the signs, how they are sort of expressing. So I'll get into that a little bit more here. This is where I'm going to ask you for some audience participation. We're going to do like a speed round of zodiac signs. So I'm going to pull up each sign. I'm going to ask you to come off mute and tell me like a word or an association you have with this sign. We're going to try to get through this quickly because there are 12 signs. So we're going to start with the first sign of the zodiac, Aries. What do you think of when you think of Aries?
Passion.
Passion.
I know
Friendship.
nothing of the other signs.
What was that?
I don't know anything about the other signs.
That's okay. Not everybody has to say anything. Okay. Passion, friendship, love it. Okay, so Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is the ram. And it is that like initiating energy, impulse. It has a lot of masculine energy, actually. So movement, action, drive, passion, independence, confidence, energy. Aries has a lot of energy to it. So a lot of times Aries are great self-starters. They like to just get right in there and go. It's kind of like act before thinking, right? And we need all 12 signs. We need Aries people in the world to just go, to start, right? Sometimes the hardest part is starting. Aries is represented by the ram. So they can be a little bit hard-headed, okay? Next, let's move on to Taurus. What do you know about Taurus?
Stubborn.
Yeah.
Double stubborn.
Yes.
I have Taurus in my life. Oh my God.
That's the best when you know someone, right? And you're like, oh, I definitely get that stereotype. And of course, we're just touching the tip of the iceberg. These are a little bit more stereotypes. We won't get. What was that, April?
Tenacious.
Tenacious, yes.
Yes. Strength was what I was thinking.
Strength. Yeah. Yeah, so Taurus is the bull. It's probably the most straightforward in terms of what the symbol for the sign is. Determination, tenacity. Taurus also represents our connection to the physical world. So it's a very grounding sign. It's actually ruled by the planet Venus. It's very much about our physicality, our sensuality, stability. Taurus also rules money, comfort, luxury. Tauruses love like a nice blanket. They like to feel physically comfortable. And also, like a bull, they will absolutely dig their heels in when they really believe in something, because Taurus also connects us to our values. So if Taurus's values are being questioned or pushed up against, that's when you're going to get those bullhorns coming out. Okay, Gemini. What do you know about Geminis?
Gifted.
Okay.
Duality.
Duality.
Friendly.
Friendly. Yeah. Okay, so Gemini is the twins. That's the constellation, and you can kind of see what the constellations look like here too. The reason that Gemini is called the twins is because it looks like two people when you connect the dots of all the stars. Gemini rules our mental state, actually. So it's all about knowledge, communication, curiosity. Geminis are very adaptable. They're shapeshifters. They can sort of go into a room and make friends with anyone because they can adapt to the energy. Geminis love variety. They sometimes get the stereotype of being a little flaky, but that's because they go where they're being stimulated, right? Very friendly, extroverted. You'll be able to spot a Gemini by someone who can just like go and make conversation with anyone. And again, there's a high expression and a low expression of every sign. So you will see words like gossip on here, right? The high expression of that would be sharing information, communicating. The low expression would be talking about other people's business, right? Geminis are ruled by the planet Mercury. They like to move quickly and they like to keep busy. All right, Cancer. What do you know about Cancers?
Passive.
Giving.
What was that, Lori?
Giving.
Giving, yeah. Anyone else? Okay, Cancer is the crab. And I love to talk about Cancer in terms of the crab because they can have that hard outer shell, but once you get beyond that, crack them open, they're total softies. Cancer is actually connected to the mother archetype and the divine feminine. So it's a very nurturing and emotional sign. It's ruled by the moon. So Cancers are known for being moody because their emotions move and change just like the moon does. They're very protective, very motherly. They're connected to the home and family. Cancers love their comfort. They're food people. If you want a way to a Cancer's heart, it is through food and nourishing their stomach for sure. Very intuitive. They can be very sensitive, but again, like you have to get through that sort of crusty, hard outer shell to really get to their sensitivity. And then when you do, they're probably going to be crying. Very much great caregivers. And a lot of Cancers are really beautiful leaders, but in a more gentle, soft, and nurturing way often. So that is Cancer. Okay, Leo, what do you know about Leo?
Mine is stubborn.
Stubborn.
Bombastic.
Oh, yes. Bombastic. Yes, I love that word. Anyone else?
Intellectual.
Okay, I love too that I can see everybody being like, okay, the Leo in my life, what are they like, right? Yeah. So Leo is the lion. And, as we perceive lions, Leo carries a lot of those qualities like pride, charisma, confidence. Leo is connected to the sun, so there's a lot of life force energy that Leo brings through. They're very expressive and playful and passionate. It's a fire sign. Leos love drama. Leos know how to turn it on and perform. They can be the star, they can take up center stage, and also sometimes to a fault where we're like, tone it down a little bit, okay? I say this with love. We all have all 12 signs in our chart. They're ferocious. When they really care about something, when their heart is connected, they will not back down from standing up for it. Similar to Taurus, but with a little more fire energy. And people who have a lot of Leo energy tend to be the best hype people. Like people in my life who carry a lot of Leo are always cheering me on, hyping me up. I think that's one of the best things about Leos. They know how to put on a show, they know how to entertain, but they also, when they're in their light and their highest expression, they're like, oh, go off, get it. Like, I see you too, right? So that's Leo. All right, Virgo, what do you know about Virgos?
Don't.
Love our comfort.
Okay.
Introvert.
Introvert. Okay, so I'm a Virgo. So I'm sort of an expert on Virgos. Virgo is the sign of the Virgin, which can be kind of confusing, right? So the Virgin represents that maiden energy, purity. We tend to be perfectionists. We are very detail-oriented people. And Virgo is also the sign of service. We like to get things done. It's all about day-to-day actions. Virgo in our charts also rule health and wellness. Again, these small daily actions that we take to be of service to the bigger picture of our lives, to our communities, to other people. Virgos love organization. We love a system. Also ruled by Mercury, so it has to make sense. We love a to-do list. Like write it down, have the task list, get it done. Virgos usually are great communicators as well, very practical. We're known for liking cleanliness. And again, we are also known for being critical. I always say as a Virgo to the people in my life who have the brunt of my criticism, like, I can't help that I notice everything. I wish I didn't notice everything, but I can't help it. I just do. Very analytical and very particular, especially if you know any Virgo children. They tend to be very specific about what they like, or Virgo adults too, right? Very specific about what they like, which that was rough on my mother because I was very specific about what I wanted. So yes, Virgo is the sign of the Virgin, and there is a purity here of wanting to noticing everything and wanting to check off every box and be really detail oriented. Also, we have the reputation of being like, well, we're always right. I'm not always right. I like to think I am. But we're like, there is a right way to do it, and we know how it is. So that's Virgo. Okay, Libra. I know we have at least one Libra in the room who has a birthday on Friday, Nicole Townsend. What do you know about Libra?
Fair,
Fair,
balance.
balanced. Anyone else?
Tenacious.
Okay. So Libra is the sign of the scales, the scales of justice. It's actually the only sign that's represented by a non-living thing, which is interesting. Libra is the sign of partnerships. It's the sign of harmony and balance. It also represents justice. You can think of in the justice system, right? There's usually the scales to show the scales of justice. Libras sometimes have a hard time making a decision because they like to weigh their options. There's a lot of duality in Libra energy. I always say a balanced Libra has a very balanced masculine and feminine energy and can embody both, right? And Libras actually, even though they're known for being like indecisive, gentle, graceful, they make great leaders as well. And they're actually in the zodiac meant to be leaders, leading from a place like gentle leaders, leading from a place of balance and fairness. They make wonderful diplomats. And Libras are also very romantic. They love the aesthetic. They like things to be pretty and visually pleasing because they are connected to the planet Venus. So it's all about love, money, and beauty. And so Libras love pretty things too, but really they like more than just physically pretty things. They like the energy and the vibe to feel balanced, easeful, gentle, and beautiful. All right, Scorpio, what do you know about Scorpios?
Intense.
Intense. Anyone else?
They sting a little bit.
They sting. Yeah, great way of saying that, Kim, because Scorpio is the scorpion, right? So they can be like hidden and mysterious and like their space and can retreat. But if you cross a Scorpio, that scorpion tail is going to sting. And it's kind of like a unexpected ouch. I have a Scorpio moon, and recently a family member I was talking to about some emotional things I was dealing with, and they were like, yeah, you can be mean. And I was like, me? But I was like, you're not wrong. So Scorpios, the sting can feel a little mean sometimes, but there's so much power and intensity. Scorpio also connects us to energy exchange. So it does rule like sex, but it's all about like deep energy exchange, because let's be honest, that is what we're talking about when we talk about sex. Contracts, so energy exchanges, right? Like I'm going to give you this and receive this. Secrets, shadows. They can be a little manipulative and controlling and obsessive. Again, we all have all 12 signs. I'm talking about myself here, but a Scorpio in their power is an alchemist. It's all about going deep, burning it down so we can be reborn, so we can transform, taking something, breaking it down, and making something totally new. It's by far the deepest, darkest, most intense sign, and Scorpios can rub people the wrong way because you're like, well, what is going on over there? You're like brewing, like, do you hate me? But they can be introverted, but really connected to their power. All right, Sagittarius. I know we have at least one Sagittarius here. What do we know about Sagittarius?
Traveler.
Traveler. Anyone else? Okay, yes, travel. Sagittarius rules travel. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, actually. So it's all about abundance, expansion, philosophy. There's a lot of optimism and faith. Sagittarius is love and adventure. They're like spontaneous. Let's go. Let's just fly to a new country. Let's hop in the car and take a 10-hour road trip. And it's that abundance that comes from having more than enough. Sagittarius, in their highest expression, in their light, is sharing with other people. They're like, here, let me give you this thing I have because I have 10 more at home, or I'll buy you dinner because I have more than enough. It's all good. So they can be very generous as well. And in their lower expression, they can just be like wild and free. And you're like, what are you what are you doing? Pour into me. But Sagittarius is the life of the party. We love a Sagittarius when they're having fun and in that overflow of abundance. Okay, a couple more. I'm trying to go as fast as I can here. Capricorn, what do you know about Capricorns?
Determined, incredibly determined,
Yes, April.
organized. I'm a Capricorn.
I had a feeling. Yes.
Stubborn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Capricorn is also an earth sign. So it's the sea goat or the mountain goat. Capricorn is all about the big picture, long-term goals. They're very ambitious and they're all about climbing with their focus on the top of the mountain that they are climbing. It's all about that long-term goal and that big vision, and they're constantly trying to ascend, looking for that sense of achievement. Capricorns love structure, they love goals, they love stability. They are actually connected to the divine masculine. So there's a protector energy there. Things have to make sense for Capricorn. They're responsible. We love long-term wealth in Capricorn season, and Capricorns tend to be like very focused on the long-term plan. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, so it also connects us to time, which is really interesting. Really using our time as our best resource. And Capricorns are just super ambitious and they're great bosses. They're great leaders because they're like, I'm looking at the big picture. You guys figure out all the tiny steps to get there. We're just going one step at a time. Okay, Aquarius. What do you know about Aquariuses?
Free-spirited.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Spontaneous.
Okay. Yeah. So Aquarius is the rebel of the zodiac, right? If Capricorn is doing everything and ticking all the boxes and you know, working within the system, Aquarius is coming in and breaking down the system and saying, that's not working and I'm going to rebel against it, but not rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It's rebellion for the sake of innovation. They can see what's not working and really help us evolve. But often at first, when you're dealing with an Aquarius, and my business partner is an Aquarius, I love her to death, but sometimes I'm like, like, I don't want to hear that, like just go with the plan. They're like, no, we're not doing that. We're doing something different. And you'll know an Aquarius because often they're like, oh, I'm really different. I'm really different than everyone else, which I love. Aquariuses connect us to our freedom. They're very innovative. They're connected to technology as well. All of these things that help us innovate. Aquarius also connects us to humanity as a whole. It's like the experience of being in a crowd, right? So it connects us to community and our network and causes that we care about. Aquariuses can see that we're all part of the same global community and each of us has a unique individual role to play. But they often are weirdos. They're very eccentric and they definitely bring their own flair into whatever room they are in. They're also very intellectual because Aquarius is an air sign and air signs connect us to our mind. Okay, and finally, Pisces. What do you know about Pisces?
Spiritual, head in the clouds, rose-colored glasses.
Hard to make decisions.
You guys nailed it. Honestly, I love this.
It's me.
I'm married to one.
Okay.
I am one.
And I raised one.
I'm a
Okay.
Pisces sun and a Pisces rising, so
I didn't
got it coming
know
and
that.
going all over the place.
Amazing. So Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, which means it carries all the wisdom from the previous signs, actually. They're very sensitive energetically and emotionally, and they do connect us to our spirituality, our imagination, illusion and or delusion, right? They like to check out into a fantasy. That is their superpower and can also be their detriment. They tend to be very intuitive, empathic. I'm sure that makes Kim a great therapist because she can probably emotionally feel the energy of her clients when she's working with.
Which can be good and it can be bad.
Exactly. Gotta protect your energy, girl.
Yeah.
Very compassionate, creative. and also can be a little bit, like you said, head up in the clouds. Okay, so now I'm going to talk you through just a few main planets, right? And before I get into the planets, I want to explain. So when you have a planet, like when you pull up your birth chart or you have one of the apps, it'll say like my sun is in Virgo, right? So you can think of that planet as like a player on a stage, right? The stage being your birth chart, the planet is the player. And the sign is like the costume the player is wearing, right? So the energy that that planet is taking on and how it's playing a role in your life as well. So we'll talk about the planets, and you can kind of think about this in terms of like, I'm just going to use Kim as an example. She said, I'm a Pisces rising. So when we talk about the rising sign, she's going to say, oh, okay, that's what rising means. And now I'm going to apply Pisces energy to that, if that makes sense. So we're going to start there with the rising sign. I always say this is the most important sign in your chart, actually, because it determines the entire layout of the chart. But your rising is the first impression you give off, how you dawn on people. This, again, is where the horizon was the moment you were born. It often reflects in your outer appearance or sort of the vibe you're putting out. Whenever someone finds out that I'm an astrologer, it's often skeptics that say like, oh, then guess my sign. And I say I can probably guess your rising sign more easily than I can guess your sun sign because I'm just meeting you. This is the energy I'm just feeling. So if you already know your rising, you can sort of think about that. Okay, if I'm a Pisces rising or I'm a Virgo rising, so I know that people right off the bat are probably feeling Virgo energy from me. The sun sign, this is the sign that most of us grow up knowing and reading our horoscopes about, right? Fun fact, if you do read horoscopes, you should actually read the horoscope for your rising sign, not your sun sign. Because astrologers, that's what we write the horoscopes based off of, your rising. So that's just a tip. Your sun represents your personality, your ego, your identity, that life force energy that's flowing through you. So when people get to know you a little better, this is kind of like the core of who you are, how you express when you get past that outer layer, right? This is more of your external experience that you're having and just kind of like the core facet of your personality. So again, I think most of us know our sun sign. So if you're like, okay, I'm a Capricorn sun, like April said, we know that like she can be like, okay, a lot of when I'm feeling my life force energy and I'm really like connected to who I am and my identity, I identify with a lot of Capricorn traits probably. And then your moon sign, your sun, moon, and rising are what we call your big three. So these, I think, are the first three signs I would really focus on if you're just starting your journey with astrology. Your moon sign represents your internal self, your emotional self. Sometimes astrologers refer to it as your inner child as well. It connects us to our intuition, to our needs, our emotional needs, even our physical needs sometimes. This is more unconscious energy. So people are probably not going to see your moon sign unless they like live with you or they're your best friend or they've known you for a long time. But you can think of your moon like, okay, this is the internal self that only comes out with the people I'm most comfortable with. I'm going to talk you through your 4 inner planets as well and what different aspects of your personality they rule to. So Mercury, the planet closest to the sun, is the fastest moving planet and it is a messenger. So in our charts and in our lives, Mercury represents how we communicate, our mindset, our ideas, thoughts, words. So this is especially helpful in a workplace setting because understanding your Mercury, how you communicate, and then maybe even understanding your coworkers or your clients' Mercury placements. If you're like, oh, they communicate in a way that is like totally not how I would communicate. Again, this comes back to giving people grace, right? Like, that's okay. We all have different communication styles, and astrology is just one lens we can view that through. So even the types of words we use, our voice, how we actually like speak can be ruled by Mercury. Venus is the planet of love and our divine feminine. Venus rules how we receive and our values and our desires. So Venus might actually come through as like if you work in an office, how someone decorates their cubicle or doesn't decorate their cubicle might be representative of their Venus sign. It could also be how someone spends their money, right? Could be representative of their Venus sign. Who they're attracted to. Often in birth chart readings, that's what we talk about Venus as, like, this is probably who you're attracted to based on your Venus sign. It's all about if someone has like Venus in Taurus, for example, we talked about Taurus loving luxury things. They might like a designer bag. They might like to have nicer things at their desk. And if someone has, for example, Venus in Gemini, they might relate. This is really how we relate to other people. They might relate through talking a lot, right? Communicating or writing a lot. So you can kind of apply the sign to Venus and how you relate to other people and how you appreciate the physical environment around you. And then again, Venus can connect us to our values, what's really important to us. Mars, this is another great planet to pay attention to in terms of the workplace, because Mars is how we move, it's how we take action. So, you know, if someone moves very quickly, like takes actions very quickly, they might have Mars in Aries or Mars in a fire sign, like Sagittarius, like let's just go and not think about it. If they have their Mars in Capricorn, for example, they're going to want to move much more slowly and deliberately because Capricorn is slow and steady, right? So this is what motivates us and how we move. This might be representative of what we're passionate about. And also when people get pissed off, that is representative of Mars too. So how people express their anger or their frustration can be indicative of their Mars placement. And the last planet I'll talk about today is Jupiter. I want to bring up Jupiter because Jupiter is all about abundance. It's all about expansion and growth, luck, good fortune, generosity. So understanding our own Jupiter placement is, I love this for business. Other people's can be great too, but really knowing your own and knowing where it is in your chart as well can show you where abundance flows most easily to you and what abundance feels like to you. So I'll just use myself as an example. I have Jupiter in Libra, and Libra is the sign of relationships. So I know a lot of my abundance comes through my partnerships and comes through my relationships, right? If you have Jupiter in Sagittarius, which it loves to be in Sagittarius, your abundance might come through adventures and travel. So I love working with Jupiter as a way to appreciate and really notice the abundance that comes to us, because abundance comes in so many different ways, right? If you have Jupiter in Taurus or Capricorn, abundance might be like just physically money coming to you, or even like physical belongings coming to you. So these are the planets, and I know we're running short on time, so I'm going to wrap up here quickly, but I'm willing to stay after too if you have any questions. Now I would invite you, you can do this either now or on your own time. If you already have your birth chart, wonderful, you can just use the chart. You can also calculate your chart here. And this is a free birth chart calculator you can access at any time. And you just put in the day and time you were born. If you don't have the time, that's okay for this level of astrology we're practicing. So you can just put in noon or whatever the like the template gives you, but noon is like usually, if you don't have the time, what you put in. And
Olivia,
yes, ma'am.
where you're at, you're blocking the QR code.
Oh, I didn't realize I'm still on the screen. Let's see.
It's been fun to watch you be animated through the whole thing.
Okay. I don't know how to change that. Let me see it. What if I do this? Okay. Can you see it? Now I just went forward. Sorry,
I
one
think
second.
if you just duck for a second.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
That worked.
Okay. Getting creative here. Okay, and I can also drop the link in the chat if anybody needs it. So this is sort of your homework, or again, I'm willing to just stay on after and help you figure this out. But looking up your birth chart, whether you have it already or not, you can calculate it, and then just filling in these blanks. So for me, it would be I am a Virgo rising. And then, okay, so how I dawn on people, how people first perceive me is probably my Virgo qualities, right? My sun is also in Virgo. So I know my life force energy, my personality is really connected to those Virgo traits. My moon, again, I'm just going to keep using myself, is in Scorpio. So the side of me that people don't get to see until they're close to me is my Scorpio sting, powerful, intense side. My Mercury is in Libra. So how I communicate carries Libra qualities. I like to feel balanced and harmonious in my communication. I like words and my language to feel very pretty in true Libra fashion. My Mars is also in Libra. So how I move through the world carries those Libra qualities as well. And if you also have Mars in Libra, for me, deciding what to do, that can be hard because I like to weigh all my options. My Venus is in Leo. So I'm attracted to very fun, ferocious, rambunctious people. And Venus can also represent like what we love, right? Because it's the planet of love. And I also love to perform, to be at center stage. I'm a dancer and grew up in musical theater and things like that. And then my Jupiter for me is also in Libra. So as I mentioned, my abundance often comes through relationships. So this is just a template you can use as a framework. And really, at the end of this, the bottom line is, even if you're working with someone and you can't pull up their chart and you don't know what their chart is, it doesn't really matter. After all of this, what really matters is staying curious about people's personalities. And, we're all so much more than one sign, right? We all have all 12 signs in our chart. We're all so much more than one job title, right? So many of us are mothers and sisters and friends and business owners and employees and all of these things. So what astrology really at the end of the day has done for me is allowed me to stay in that energy of curiosity when I'm dealing with people, instead of being like, ugh, why is she so like abrasive when she's talking? I'm like, okay, I wonder what her Mercury sign is in. Maybe she's Mercury in Capricorn and it's very practical in business. Maybe she's Mercury in Aries and likes to speak quickly and just get things done, right? So it just gives me space to wonder and be curious about other people. And also, it's a really fun way to start a conversation and get to know people on a deeper level, right? All right, so this was just really the tip of the iceberg when it comes to learning astrology, and you are the first here, if you're here still, to have the opportunity to join me. I'm going to be relaunching a 1-month container that's going to teach you how to fully understand a birth chart, fully understand astrology, and then also understand how the planets moving day by day actually affect us. So it's called transit tracking, and we're going the Libra new moon to the Scorpio new moon, a full lunar cycle together. You can learn more by scanning the QR code, or again, you can stick around and ask me if you have any questions. But really, it's been such an honor to share this with you. If you want to keep in touch, here are all my Instagram accounts because I do a lot of things, and my website. And yeah, I just want to, again, thank you so much for taking your lunch hour, taking the time to be with me today, to be in community this afternoon. And also, I just want to commend you for being open-minded and willing to learn a little bit more about yourself and about the people around you, because I think we could all use a little bit more understanding and compassion in the world right now, especially when we're like, oh, why are they this way? How could anybody think this way? How could anybody believe that? It's like we all are looking through the world through our own eyeballs and our own lenses. And astrology is just a really fun way to be able to name the different aspects of our personality, and as a Virgo, to analyze people in a way that's less critical and more loving. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you again. If you have any questions about NAWBO, about my upcoming offerings, about any of the things that I do, I will hang out. And yes, and please let me know if you want any more access to astrology resources. There are so many free resources out there as well, and I'm a firm believer in being able to learn what you're curious about, regardless of where you're at financially and energetically. So, thank you.
This was amazing, Liv. Quick question.
Yes.
People had asked, can you drop the website in the chat for your course? I
Yes.
am going to sign up because I'm on my phone, so I can't scan the QR code.
Yes.
And then I had a question. I hopped on and she was just introducing herself, but I'm very interested who the Ayurvedic practitioner was.
Katie.
Katie, can you drop, if you're still on, can you drop your info in the chat? I'd love to connect.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. I'll drop it right now. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you.
And as Kim mentioned, we are in the middle of a membership drive for NAWBO. So this isn't necessarily our typical lunch and learn. We do this on the first Wednesday of every month, and some of our next topics will be about like business lending. And there's a lot of really practical information that, not that astrology is not practical, it absolutely can be, but a little bit more traditional business knowledge that we share as well. This is a great time to join NAWBO if you have been thinking about it or curious about it, because we're in our membership drive. So there's a discount if you join. And if you're interested in connecting more in person, as Kim mentioned and dropped in the chat, we have our fall mixer. It's free to attend, coming up on October 21st. It's a Tuesday night, and it'll be in the ice blocks on our street, downtown Sacramento. So Kim is a wonderful resource for membership if you have questions. And again, I will hang out to answer any questions you have about NAWBO, about astrology, about myself, or if you just want someone to chat with. I will hang out for a little bit. Thank you again. I want to honor your time. I know we've gone just a few minutes over. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you all again soon.
So creative, Olivia. Thank you. Really creative,
you so
original,
much.
different. You stuck with the business and you put in all these other pieces, made me think of it differently. I've done a little bit with astrology, and like you just put in a different mix. Really appreciate what you brought to the table today.
Thank you, Kim. And I didn't know that you're a Pisces and Pisces rising.
Holy moly, I am it coming and going, and I am a mess sometimes. Like, you're not recording it. No, I'm serious, until I realized what in the hell was going on with me, because it's like the inner and outer, and then I never do much with my moon, and so I got to look at that a little bit more. I'm a Virgo moon, which I saw what you said about Virgo. I was like, God dang it.
So I'm a Virgo rising, Virgo sun, and you're a Pisces rising, Pisces sun, and Virgo and Pisces are opposite. So what that tells me about you is that you were born on a full moon, which is very special. And what's really cool, you're like, I'm a mess, and Virgo is the clean to Pisces mess, right? And we need both. And when people are opposite us, we actually have often better relationships with them. Morgan, my co-chair for NAWBO, is also a Pisces, and her birthday is exactly opposite mine. Yeah.
See what you go. That's interesting. I always thought, so you have to have your chart done, because when you're right, I was right on the change, the cusp, and I always thought I was an Aquarius. I always thought I was an Aquarius. I was quite disappointed because I thought Aquarius meant water because it's the water bearer. Show you how much I knew. And come to find out, I'm a Pisces. Well, when I read about Pisces, I go, oh my God, that's what it is. Now I understand. It made so much sense. And so I fit within it. Ugh.
Intuitively, you knew that you
guess.
were water.
I don't know. And then, so I got to say, every time an astrologer looks at my chart, they go, because mine's weird like yours. It's,
yeah. Oh, I have to see your whole chart now.
You've got to see.
We're gonna have to
They
do
always look, they go, oh, their eyes get big.
Yes, yes. And I think I mentioned this, but I do offer birth chart readings through my website as well.
It's really fun. Anybody who hasn't done it, it's really interesting. It gives some clarity to what's going on. So recommend it. There you go.
Yeah. And you can find all of these resources on my website. And if it's, my last name is hard to spell, it's also just thespiritualjournalist.com. I left my career in journalism and became the spiritual journalist. And so there's lots of free resources on my website as well. And that free birth chart calculator is there too. So if you're ever like, like a friend wants to calculate a birth chart and you don't know where to go, thespiritualjournalist.com, there's a free birth chart calculator there for you 24/7. And also, if you're like not wanting to do a full reading yet, there's a way to purchase just a downloadable PDF that breaks down your chart too. If you're more of a learner through reading and doing your own like research, that's an option for you too. But also, you're welcome to book a reading and I'll talk your ear off all about you, and we can answer specific questions about your life or what season you're in right now, things like that.
I have to say, I've had the pleasure of doing it with Olivia, and yes, Kim, I'm similar. I actually don't resonate with the Pisces like at all, except for maybe the empathetic, can't make decisions. But other than that, I'm like, that's kind of where it ends. Well, also head in the clouds. Okay, maybe I am a little bit more of a Pisces, but the rest of it, I'm like, love to be the center of attention, like just all over the place. So I think that's where maybe the Virgo of me comes in. I don't know. But I'm also strategic.
And again, like even if you're like, oh, that's weird, I resonate with parts and I don't resonate with others, you have like so many other placements in your chart that might be affecting how you speak, how you show up, so that's really what I'm hoping to empower you all with. Like, even if you're like, I don't like this description or this isn't me, like we're all such complex people. And more importantly, the people that we're working with are also such complex people.
Yeah.
And what you're seeing is probably just their rising. Or if you're working with someone long term, you're probably still not seeing all aspects of who they are and what they bring to the table. So,
very good.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. Any other questions I can answer for you all or insights you want to share? I'm always open if you're like, I just had this epiphany about myself in through the lens of astrology and I don't have anybody else to share this with that will actually understand what I'm saying. My Instagram DMs, my email is always open for that kind of stuff because I totally get being the person.
I really had never thought about, you talked about Jupiter and looking where Jupiter is, because Jupiter is about abundance, expansion, growth. And it made me think about business, and like money mindset was what came up to me. And I thought, I'm going to have to do a deeper dive on that one. I have Aquarius in Jupiter and and it's in my 12th house. I have a lot in my 12th house. I'm very heavy in my 12th.
Yeah.
So
Great.
But I have to study this some more because I thought in terms of business, that was fascinating. That kind of, how do I allow money to come in or not? And kind of, I thought that might be for me a way to have a little deeper dive.
Yeah, abundance mindset really is kind of what we can look at Jupiter in terms of business. And for you, Jupiter in Aquarius is the sign of community and the network. So your abundance likely will come through your network and your community. And also with it being in the 12th house, it might be more like subconscious or unconscious, right? Where you're like not really realizing that you're calling in abundance or that it's happening. It just sort of like passively shows up in your sleep and you're like, oh, I am abundant. Oh, that just happened, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. And it's helpful to be able to better recognize it too. I think like abundance mindset in general, or in terms of manifestation or whatever you want to call it, I think personally that starts with already being able to recognize what's already abundant, right? And then calling in more of that versus being in that space that's like, I just want abundance. I want it to come to me. That's like the opposite of Jupiter energy. Jupiter energy is like, I am abundant. More is more. More of this, please. So much more that I can now share it. And I would say for you, Kim, with Jupiter in Aquarius in the 12th house, you probably really like to share your abundance with other people too. When you do feel like overflow and you have more than enough, you're like, give it away or let me support a cause I really care about. Let me do
It's more
good.
about that rather than giving away money. It's like, actually I have, but no, it's more about information or support or I don't know. I just want to dig into that. Thank you for the information. That's really interesting to me, especially connected to business.
Yeah. And you are your own best astrologer too. I always say that. Like, you know yourself way better than I know you, or anybody else on this earth could know you. So understanding your own birth chart is a great way to just better understand yourself, you
I
know?
love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
This has been
I love this stuff.
incredible. I
It's been
know.
fun.
So interesting.
Yeah. Kim, I also like to think of astrology kind of like parts work, like IFS. Because it's like, you know, in parts work, I'm not a therapist, obviously, but it's like naming these different parts and components of our personality. And a lot of times I'm like, oh, well, my Mercury is expressing this way. And it's like, that's kind of the part of me that's my mental, my mind, right? Or my sun is like my energy and my personality or my ego, right? That part of me. So thanks, Nicole. Yeah. So
It's always nice to meet another Virgo.
oh, are you a Virgo too?
Yeah. I just had my birthday last
When
Monday.
was it? The
22nd.
Happy belated birthday. You're right on the edge, right? Right on the
I
equinox.
am right on the edge. So
Yeah.
I very much I was laughing because as you were talking about the different things, I frequently can sometimes be, very much a Leo, but I can also be very much a Libra as well. So and then Virgo kind of works all in there together. So a lot of times I'm carrying all three traits, all traits from all three of those, just because they're so around me. But
Yeah, I
definitely.
bet you have other planets in those signs too.
Mm-hmm,
That's a good
most assuredly. But I love being a Virgo. So it's
We are the best. I'm just kidding. We like to think we're the best. We're like,
uh-huh,
we know everything.
Olivia, when somebody's kind of if their birthday's on the cusp, is it normal for them to exhibit things from other signs?
So this is like a controversial topic among astrologers. Some astrologers are like, cusps are not real, right? And some are like, oh, totally. If like, especially Pamela, if you're on the 22nd, you are like the day that the sun moves into Libra, right? So I like to think yes. And then also when you get like really deep into astrology, there are three what are called decans for each sign. So the sign is actually split up into three different parts that carry their own unique energy. And so that can that's why I always say like an August Virgo and a September Virgo are different breeds. I don't get August Virgos. I'm like, you guys are super Leo and different than we are, right? And you might feel that in your sign too, right? Like a March Aries versus an April Aries might feel like they're carrying a different energy, where the March Aries might be a little more Pisces and the April Aries might be a little bit more Taurus, right? So you can kind of view it in those terms. And often, oh yeah, your daughter is on the cusp of Leo and Virgo. And often what's interesting is Mercury, which again, Mercury is like our mental state, and we live in a very mental reality, right? Like a lot of how we're experiencing other people is through our minds. Mercury is always either in the sign of the sun, the same sign as the sun, or the sign before or the sign after, just based on how Mercury moves. So that's also a great way, like, I'll just use Davis, Nicole's daughter, as an example. I don't actually know this, I'm just guessing, but or actually I'll use myself as an example so I don't have to guess. I'm very Virgo. I got a Virgo sun and a Virgo rising, but I have my Mercury, my Mars, and my Jupiter in Libra. And so I actually have a lot of Libra energy, and my birthday is at the end of Virgo season. So I carry a lot of that Libra energy too. So there can be a few different reasons why we, especially if we're on the cusp of a season, why we can exhibit the following season's attributes as well.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing. I have to hop off.
Yes, my pleasure. I love talking about astrology. Always available to chat about it and to share more with you. And thank you again for spending your time with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Olivia,
Thank
very,
you,
very,
Olivia. I
very
learned a
helpful
lot.
and wonderful.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Beautiful rest of your day.